And we're back to Matrix Talk. Hello, everybody.
Welcome.
As you sign on and do stuff, there's a few people signed up, and this is Hope in the Matrix, or the Hope Matrix, or whatever, coming about because, well, we hear a lot of hope these
There
days.
seems to be a lot of it running around.
And as Phil pointed out, sometimes when you do this, especially with a group of people, they will say something like, "Wow, this is hopeful."
Yes. Yes.
Which is not something we almost never put hope on the Matrix, but it
Never.
just
This is the first time on
yep,
August the 12th, 2024, that you will see hope firmly embedded in the Matrix.
yep.
Up front.
And I just created that
Yeah.
slide. So
Now that not to say, like Kevin's saying, that it shows up very often when you use it.
yes, absolutely. And so what I was interested in, and it sort of piqued my interest in this, was that with the Harris-Walz campaign, somebody noted that her big thing was to switch the messaging from we must defeat the autocracy mongers or whatever, that kind of talk, to freedom and hope. And somebody says, well, this isn't the first time. And so I read an article that said Pinochet was
Oh yeah.
defeated.
Okay.
And he was defeated by hope, freedom and
Yeah.
hope. And so, and they were really, I mean, he had killed tens of thousands of people.
Yeah.
And,
he had an iron grasp on things.
He did. And he was defeated by hope, by freedom and hope. And so, not that, I mean, Trump was pretty bad. And folks who say, well, Kevin's never political. Listen, they started talking about autocracy and Christian nationalism, which is white nationalism, and really anti-democratic stuff. Right. And that was it. No, yeah. no.
Yeah.
I'm not sitting on the sidelines for that. No.
Nope.
That's just wrong. No, I'm a great defender of the Constitution. And Republican democracy and all that good stuff. So that's why I'm talking that way. So and then lo and behold, we hear, and I was reminded, and Phil knew it too, that you hear that people say, well, this is hopeful. Yeah. This is light. And so this is just a tiny little exploration of how hope shows up when you do the Matrix. Now, I would imagine, Phil,
yes,
and others, that in beginning with this question, who is important to you, that might be leaning us in that direction.
Well, it will very often put a smile on my face and those that I have asked that question to.
Yeah. So anybody who's done an audience, presented to an audience, and of course, it's master, even, Kamala Harris and Tim Walz and Barack Obama and others are just masters at that, getting a crowd into hope. Obama wrote The Audacity of Hope, right? So
yes.
That was his thing. So anyway, so anybody who's done that knows, well, it's tricky getting an audience started. Yeah, it's just tricky. And Phil and I's profession in doing the Matrix and doing what we do, we found that our great opening was to simply ask, who's important to you? Everybody. And then we have people say it out loud. We're giving them an example. Like I'll say, my wife's important.
Yeah. Or your kids or your dog.
And then people start having fun just almost immediately.
Yeah.
they start having fun, and you even get the pets come in and
Yep.
whatever, and if you do it a few times, you quickly see the importance of starting, at least our work, of starting with who's important to you. It gets you off on the right foot.
Yeah. Loosens things up right away.
Yeah, lubricates folks.
Exactly.
Better than alcohol.
They sit back and their shoulders come down and they relax and they get engaged quickly.
And that's the other thing. Get engaged. And now you've created a context. 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 So now everybody's talking about who's important to them and just get lifted up and get into that, dare I say, hopeful context that you have it going. So, and that is so much more motivating. The word I was looking for was motivating than to ask the lower left question to begin with. So we start with who's important to you, get that jive going. And then only after that do we ask, hey, well, now we can talk about what kind of yucky stuff shows up inside. Like anxiety or fear or something. And people then have a pretty good time talking about the yucky stuff. Where if you started with that, it would have a not hopeful.
No,
not hope.
It would be more of a yikes kind of experience.
Right. And so you see how that very simple change in that opening just shifts the context. You start the context with hopeful, who's important. Hey, I can talk to people and take them out to dinner and call them on the phone, text them and whatever, versus starting off with yucky stuff. And if you started with the yucky stuff and then went back over to who's important to you, everything would be clouded by the yucky stuff.
Oh yeah.
So Phil and I have done this literally tens of thousands.
We've learned from experience, many
and
years.
That difference. Well, and why is that important? Well, lots of mental health counseling, all kinds of stuff, starts with what's your yucky stuff?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
Right.
And if you really want to dampen down a crowd, just ask them what's wrong with you. And they'll all just shut up.
Yeah. Especially if you ask a teenager that question.
Yeah. So it's not good. So we're probably getting the hope out of the question, who's important to you?
Oh yeah, it's all over it.
I go back to it's motivating.
Yeah.
And so back to Harris. And I like Obama. I like, God darn it, our current president is Joe Biden. See, I got it right. Like Joe Biden too, but that messaging wasn't motivating.
Yeah.
That was the difference. The messaging wasn't motivating. Plus, and it turns out, and I hadn't even thought of this, freedom is motivating.
Yes.
The cry for, well, then when I ever say that, I think of Braveheart, right? The great black when he's
the man with the painted face and the kilt.
Yeah, and he's being dissected.
Right.
And he yells, freedom.
Right.
With his last breath, So freedom. And and Kamala Harris just instantly asked Beyonce if she could use that.
The song. Yeah, freedom.
Freedom. So it's motivating. They're like, back to it, folks. It's motivating. You say, well, what do you mean motivating? Well, you know what I mean. 15,000 people show up to a rally,
Yeah.
lining out the doors.
You can see it.
Right. And what you want is that motivation to carry through so that they go vote. Well, You say, well, okay, that's all well and good. Well, what about you guys in the Matrix? Oh, we're always about motivating people.
It's the same thing.
Same thing. Which is motivating folks to, in essence, do stuff for who's important to you.
Yeah.
We just get it down to that granular level. Who's important if we do the next matrix, which is the pro-social matrix, and we ask what's our shared purpose, which, by the way, Phil was just telling me about an interview with Tim Walz when he was a coach, saying I didn't have the best players. We weren't the best players, but we darn sure made sure that we had, we call it shared purpose.
Yeah, he called it everybody on the same page.
Everybody on the same page. And then you'll hear everybody singing from the same song sheet, kind of thing. And that's so important. I mean, it's just like the U.S. Olympic basketball team.
Yeah.
Men's or women's.
Yep.
They're the conglomeration of the best. But if you don't get them playing together as a team, they're not going to win.
Nope.
Not in modern basketball, because there's lots of countries that can field a really good team together. They have to. And conversely, you can have a team of mediocre to good players and really be very competitive if everybody is playing together on shared purpose. So that's the second one. Back to motivation. And you can, like it was a Chris Farley that did the Saturday Night Live.
Oh, he was the motivational expert.
Yes. The motivational speaker.
Right.
In the living room. The teenagers. He's basically telling them to be motivated.
Right.
That doesn't motivate people.
Yeah, right. Turns them right off.
And it doesn't motivate any of us. But once we get here about hope, and the way we instill it with the matrix is to ask, who's important? That's our biggie. And that's where we usually start. You can talk about it on the amygdala level if you want.
Oh, yeah. Throw some science at them.
A little bit of science. We humans are a skittish lot. And that's because of a part of our brain that's called the amygdala. And its job is to be on guard. And it is.
Scanning.
It's just always on guard. And it's always there to be defensive.
Yep.
Go in your hidey hole. Protect yourself.
Keep you alive.
Yeah. And we're all here because we humans are really good at that. The downside of that, when you go in your hidey hole, well, that's all you're motivated for is hiding.
That's it. You're not you doing your hiding thing.
Right, but you're not going to go hunting or plant crops or.
Yeah, and you certainly aren't feeling very hopeful.
No, you're right. You become a nihilist really quick.
That's horrible.
Oh, doom and gloom all the way.
This is the
end. Oh yeah, the end is near. The end is near. So you get that, and this is just the amygdala. People trying to come up with all kinds of different fancy stuff for that. Doesn't require any fancy stuff at all. It's just the amygdala. So what Phil and I have long taught people is to, when you speak to them, imagine you're speaking to their amygdalas.
Yeah. That it's on.
And so if you ask what's wrong with you, what did I just do to the amygdala? It just shuts down. It doesn't want to disclose what's wrong. It puts you in a defensive posture.
Your
amygdala doesn't care if you're physically in danger or psychologically in danger. it just notices the danger and shuts down. On the other side, hey, who's important to you?
Oh,
Your amygdala is not set off to be defensive about that.
cool. I can do this.
Yeah, I can do this. It's sort of a nice question. You know, let me think for a minute about who all is important to me. So you really bypass the amygdala circuit. It's still there, but it lets it fly right on by. It doesn't put up any defense to it. Well, that's motivating because now they're motivated to tell you who's important to them. And now that's hope. Okay, that's hopeful. That's, hey, I can do this. Oh yeah,
yeah.
And that's what we're talking about doing. And you currently see it expertly being accomplished with the Harris-Walz campaign. We're talking to you in August the 12th, 2024, and they're just on a run of this hope and motivating people. And so that was the secret. How are you going to motivate people to get out and vote? That's always your thing.
Yeah.
How are you going to motivate them to get out and vote? And but first, you got to motivate them to show up to a rally. Freedom.
Yep. All together.
All together now, right? And so people were ready for hope after years of what I would call nihilism.
Yeah. And doom and gloom.
Doom and gloom, nihilism, just that. Everything was going bad. You know, there is no hope.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously that worked for Trump to get elected in 2016 a bit. People were still sort of hopeful that voted for him. I think they were hoping that he was a Washington outsider, that he would shake things.
Coming in and throwing bricks at the powers that be.
At the power, and let's face it, folks, he didn't. He just cut taxes on the wealthy, and the longer he went, the more autocracy he went for, to January 6th, where he tried to illegitimately hang on to power.
Not relinquish the reins of power.
Right, and that's just not the American way. Peaceful transfer of power is the biggie. Period. So he went over to that, and then it was all nihilism. They're out to get us. It's horrible.
Yep.
And in the end, what do people do with that? They stay home. They hunker down.
Yep.
And don't come out. Now you got hope. So if you want to build your little bitty corner of hope in your life, I would, as often as you can, ask yourself, who's important to me? To bring it down to a practical level. Phil and I do this
every day.
At least Phil tells me he does.
Yeah, every day.
And I do too. And sometimes I get to feeling yucky, and things are
yeah, some days more often.
Yeah, and the sooner you can start thinking about who's important to you, which in my life at least, a lot of the people I talk to's life ends up being, well, then now that I'm thinking of who's important to me, what can I do for them?
Yeah.
And then that sets you off on a behavior of doing for others.
Yep.
And things get a lot better.
Yeah.
Not perfect. Better.
Yep.
And so, if you want to go talk to a group, we highly recommend you start, hey, everybody, who's important to you?
Yeah.
And why? Now, I've always said, if you're really, really, really pressed for time with a group, and you just can't ask that to do the first loop, and you have to start with what's our shared purpose, okay, so be it.
Yeah.
But that's only in an extreme situation. Usually you have time to ask
You can
who's
ask that question. Yeah.
and that's the better start because that's where the hope starts coming in.
Yep.
Very quickly. And people get light.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Practice doing this. If you get a few people, 2, 3, 4, 5 people, or 100, whatever, you show them. You say, "Who's important to you?" Da da da. Get it. What's your yucky stuff? Da da da. Write that down. What do you do for relief? Drink, walk, yoga, whatever. What do you do for who's important? Well, I talk to them. I bring them coffee, take them to dinner. Da 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 da. You can notice all that stuff. Great. Okay, now everybody show it to each other. What? No, I'm serious. You get a piece of paper and you draw the 2 lines, and we always have it just like this where you can see it.
Nice and easy.
It's not, you don't have to do it from memory.
No.
You copy it, but you do present it to somebody else, and almost without fail, it's like romper room. Just people have a good time with it.
Yep, they do.
Yeah, it is. The room just lightens right up.
It just takes right off.
We've had it. Well, the majority of the time we've had it that you have to stop people to get to your next.
Oh yeah. No, I always have to say, okay, let's bring it in. We're hate to bust up the party here.
They're very motivated. They're very talkative.
Yes.
So we highly recommend you give it a try. And if you don't want to give it a try, okay. That's okay too.
Do whatever you do.
We don't try and force anything.
Hey.
Do whatever. But that's the hope, and we think it's hopeful. The Matrix is hopeful. And so anything else we need to say, Phil?
No, I think that's it. I think the idea is it's there, and we're helping people access their motivation and their hopefulness. And once they can do that, they start figuring stuff out for themselves.
Yep. And the way you do this, folks, is you show it to people.
Just like this.
You
got to tell them about it. We never mention hope, never talk about hope.
Oh, no. You can.
Yeah.
If you want to do, you could. I mean, you can do what you want, but just show it to folks.
Yeah.
You don't even, really, it's just the 2 lines and the 4 questions. You don't even have to put relief and stuff on there, or senses and mental for that matter. Just ask the 4 questions. You're fine.
Yeah.
Just practice asking people the question.
You're getting them into this.
And I can almost guarantee that really cool, interesting stuff will show up in your life. And not 100%, but I can almost guarantee it.
Yeah.
Which is sort of cool. Nice to spread hope.
It is. It's a nice thing to do.
Yeah, that's why Phil and I do this.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're speaking of spreading hope. Very often is also the case without you saying anything. I mean, we like people to show it to people, but they will spontaneously want to go and show this to somebody else.
Well, they'll ask you, can I show this to somebody?
Yeah, exactly.
Go. Yeah. Go for it.
Yeah. Anytime you want.
Yeah, please do. Go show it. Yeah, now you'll do it. Can I show this to my wife, husband, whatever, my coworkers, whatever it is? Yeah, sure.
It's a great way to spread hope.
Yeah, it really is.
So Jasmine's asking a question, Kevin. Hi, Jazz. Do you think people do better without the visual? I find some may glaze over when they see the diagram.
Well,
may just list out the 4 questions.
You could if you wanted to. Give it a try.
See what happens.
Do it. Some people, I guess. I don't know. I have good luck with the
Oh, if
line.
the interpretation wasn't working. Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
If it wasn't working, oh yeah,
Yeah, I've done that. I've done that without the diagram. Yep, that works.
yeah. The four questions are the biggie.
Yeah.
But just so you know, part of the deal of the two lines is it's a very primitive drawing. It's in caves, like cave people drawing two lines. So it's very primitive, or it sort of gets people back to the roots a bit. But if it's not working, it's not working. You know? Also, that gives us a handy place to write things down.
Yeah, that's why I like.
Yeah, so there's lots of good stuff about it, but if it doesn't work in a situation, don't use
it.
Yep. Four questions are hard to do away with the four questions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I'll go show it to folks. That's it. Our whole enterprise, the ACT Matrix Academy, our sneakiness is to get everybody showing each other the matrix. And we're not ashamed of that.
No. Shameless about that, actually.
That's what we do in our thing. Remember our thought experiment. Imagine
if everybody, yep.
Right, if half the people, I don't know how many people, billion we up to now, 8 billion or something.
Cut it in half.
Something around that. So let's just call it 8. Call it if 4 billion people showed the other 4 billion people the matrix. What would happen? I mean, all at once. I said it's a thought experiment. I'm not saying it's going to really happen. But if that really happened all at once, just imagine. There'd be a lot of thoughtful stuff going on. It would, I dare say it would change the world.
Oh my gosh.
It just would. It would just be amazing. Heck, if we could just get the 4 billion to ask the other 4 billion, who's important to you?
Yeah.
Change the world.
Yeah, skip the diagram. Just ask the question.
So that's our task. We haven't come close to it.
Yeah, we're butting up against a headwind there with that one.
However, we do have the internet, so we'll keep trying.
Yeah.
Plugging away. That's what we do. And in the meantime, we do. We use this, we ask this, we play around with it, we doodle it, and we certainly ask who's important. That's the big fun stuff.
Yes.
I don't have anything else. You got anything else?
No, I'm feeling hopeful. I think I'm going to go off and do some stuff for my important people.
Yeah, me too. I do. Got some errands to run.
Yeah.
That includes stuff for important folks or my pets. Pets and goats and stuff. Okay, we'll do it. When are we going to be back? We'll probably be back Friday, right?
This Friday, not. I won't be around this Friday.
What are we going to do? Where are you going to be?
I'm going to be down the shore with my family.
Well, that's a heck of a thing to do.
Yeah, I know.
Cool.
And if I get it, and if I get a chance, I'll show somebody the Matrix down there.
Well, yeah, we do that a lot.
Yeah.
So that's the 16th.
Yes.
I want to take that out of my calendar.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, it looks like we're good for next Monday.
Yes, we are.
Okay. We'll be back Monday.
And we will see you folks then.
See you then. Be well, everybody.
Take care.